Thank you very much, Thomas, for this very concise and clear presentation. Thank you also to Marianti and Dimitra. I see a lot of questions coming in the chat. Perhaps the first one for you, Dimitra or Marianti. How is the railway sector concerned by the Network and Information Security Directive, the so-called NIS directive?
Thank you so much for the question. There are several challenges that we have seen on the implementation and on the take-up of the NS directive in the 27 member states. First of all, the fact that this directive means that nationally each member state can transpose it into national law, and they can choose to omit or to extend the scope as they deem more suitable to their needs that the member state itself has. So that means in some member states, some of the operators, not for rail specifically, but some sectors have been omitted because they have been either identified as non-essential under the directive, or maybe they're already covered from another existing national framework on security or safety. So from one side, we saw a lack of harmonization between the different member states, which is actually something that happens in all the different sectors. But what we notice for the railway sector and for transport sector overall is trying to strike a balance between the OT and IT system requirements. So for the transport modes, the primary goal is safety, is passenger safety, and overall providing a safe service to the wide audience. So that means that cybersecurity, which might eventually have a security impact in case of an incident, that means that cybersecurity in some cases is not considered a high priority because all the burden goes to the OT systems. So an overall low, what we noticed again is an overall low digital and cybersecurity awareness in the sector. And this is actually what the NS directive wants to boost with the specific provisions that we have included. And finally, the complexity of the legacy systems and also of the supply chain systems, so the systems that are offered from vendors or from other operators, this increases a lot the complexity and makes harmonization even more difficult for the sector itself.
Thank you very much. You are talking about impacts, possible impacts on safety. We have a question in the chat, which I will read. Perhaps it's a question for you, Thomas. Could we consider cybersecurity to be one element of the safety management system? And is ERA preparing something in that respect?
Thank you, Dorothea, for the question. Thanks, Dimitra and Marianti, for the presentation. So yes, definitely, safety is one of the components, and this is also why the agency is working on that. Because, as reminded by the executive director of ERA, strictly speaking, cybersecurity is not part of the regulation that is founding the action of the agency. However, safety is, and we can suspect that there is a possibility that a cyber incident can have an impact on safety, and therefore this is why we need to consider in the safety domain what could be the possible consequences of such a cyber impact. So definitely for us, what needs to be considered is the consequences of cyber impact into safety, and the best regulation tool to handle that is definitely the common safety methods. So here, this is on the procedural aspects, and the intent of the agency is to rely on the draft technical specifications from CNELEC, the 70501 on railway cybersecurity, where we can have the measures and the methods how to implement cybersecurity provisions, how to perform cybersecurity risk assessment. And this is very helpful for those that are into the railway domain. This is somehow similar to the 50126 on the V model, but considering the security and cybersecurity threats. So definitely this technical specification is going to be a milestone, as I mentioned in my presentation, and we intend to align the common safety methods onto this recommendation from CNELEC to make sure that there is a consistent approach of this cyber risk assessment and also the methodology how to tackle cyber incidents.
Thank you, Thomas. Indeed, cybersecurity requires cooperation with a lot of organizations. Some of them have been discussed in your presentations. I have a question in the chat about an eventual cooperation with Shift2Rail. What is the current status on that, please? I think this is something for you, Thomas, or can Marianti or Dimitra answer? Okay, Thomas.
Yeah, or maybe we want to see the answer from ENISA first on this one, and I will comment just after that.
Hi, thank you. We follow all the projects from Shift2Rail, the ones related to cybersecurity, with great interest, and we're hoping that in the future there will be even more projects that cover these aspects. We think that they can offer early results on how to implement cybersecurity measures in an effective way and solve issues that exist. So even though at the moment ENISA has only been supporting in the sidelines, we have not been fully involved. We hope that in the future we will be able to have a closer link to the projects themselves and to the results they bring. We really support this initiative. Thomas, I hope you agree.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thanks, Marianti. Indeed. And at the agency side, well, of course, Shift2Rail is a very important initiative, project, element to be considered. We are in close cooperation with Shift2Rail, especially with the X2Rail 1 and now X2Rail 3, work package 8 and 9 on cybersecurity. So this is covering the overall technical demonstrator 2.11 that I mentioned also in my presentation. And Shift2Rail is currently developing some practical solutions on the shared security services, for example, or developing protection profiles for certain elements of the railway system. So definitely we will in due time consider what Shift2Rail is proposing as a research and innovation solutions to enhance the regulatory framework at the railway side. So here we are considering more the technical solutions. So that is to say, it will be covered by the technical specifications for interoperability. And most importantly, the Common Control on Signaling TSI, that is definitely the one regulating how ERTMS should be defined and developed in Europe. So definitely cybersecurity is a key component here. We have to acknowledge that the railways are growing on this topic. Shift2Rail is very well advanced, but there will be some time between what research and innovation, which is a state-of-the-art, develops, and what the regulatory framework can include, especially with the strong focus on interoperability and on safety, of course.
Thank you, Thomas. We are also receiving quite a lot of technical questions in the chat, detailed questions. As we are approaching 11 o'clock, can we agree that we will answer these questions after the webinar, and we will put the answers on the webpage, which you find on the ERA website. Please do not hesitate to keep sending us your questions. As we are a bit short of time, we cannot answer all of them during the webinar. You can send us your questions in several ways. There is a link on the webpage on the ERA website, the webpage of this event, or you can use the contact us form, which you find also on the ERA website. And then we will answer you as soon as possible. There is a last question. We have many questions on technical standards. How is the status of the TS 5701? When will it be published? And does it consider the risk approach to railways? I think this question is for you, Thomas. Am I right?
Yes, indeed. Well, this technical specification 5701 developed by the Working Group 26 of CNELEC is of interest both for the Railway Agency and also for ENISA. I think that with this question, actually, you are offering a perfect transition to the closure of that event. So on the question first, this is now under review, this technical specifications from CNELEC. So I'm not taking on behalf of CNELEC, but I expect it will be published early next year or before mid next year in any case. And why this is offering a perfect transition? Because for the first quarter of next year, together with our colleagues from ENISA, we are planning another online conference that will be now this time hosted by ENISA and not by ERA, but that will be jointly organized, where we expect that key stakeholders on rail cybersecurity will be able to develop more in detail the measures for rail cybersecurity. And no doubt that CNELEC Working Group 26 will be part of such an event. Let me hand over now to Dimitra so that she can complement the announcement of this online conference next year. Dimitra, please.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you so much, Thomas. So we are very pleased to announce indeed that it's the first joint ENISA and ERA event. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 situation, we will need to hold it online. So that's why we have picked to span it to 2 days. It will be 2 days dedicated to railway cybersecurity with distinguished speakers, and we will cover most of the topics that we have seen already raised in the questions. So we will include cybersecurity measures, policy implementation, standardization, and of course more technical sessions dedicated to the IT professionals in the sector. Please stay tuned, and more information will be announced soon from both the ENISA and the ERA public channels. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to, in particular, to our very enthusiastic speakers, Thomas, Marianti, and Dimitra, to our executive director and the executive director of ENISA. And well, we wish you a very pleasant afternoon and a great weekend. And we will put all updates on the ERA website, and I'm sure ENISA will do the same. Bye-bye.